The Pledge, your hometown news talk.
The Hometown News Talk, 96.5 and 1260. The Pledge, it is a movement. It is a movie. It's called Hope Bridge. Where there's hope, there is life.
Depression, of course, is one of the most prevalent diseases in our world today. And coming to Holland on June the 29th, the movie Hope Bridge will be shown. And it's been brought to us by one of our own family members here in town. Jeff and Cherie Elhart family will have it. Jeff joins us now. Jeff, this is actually a topic that is very near to your family. Tell us why.
Yes, my brother Wayne succumbed to depression illness on March 27, 2015, just a few months ago, through suicide. And so we're bringing suicide prevention awareness education to our community.
Jeff, was depression something he dealt with for a long time?
Yes, well, actually not that long. I'm convinced it was triggered in 2010. I believe he hit bottom, which if you read and become educated on the topic, he hit bottom, but then he was coming back out. And as typical in many situations, they start feeling better, getting their house in order, start organizing things, and he had enough confidence to take away his pain permanently.
Unfortunately, this is a reoccurring story throughout the landscape of our country, and there is hope. And Jeff, you and your wife went down to Florida, and you met the producers of the film Hope Bridge, which the subtitle is Where There Is Hope, There Is Life. It stars Kevin Sorbo and, of course, Bobo Stewart and Rebecca Robles. I think this movie, which you are bringing to Holland and will be shown at Christ Memorial Church, is a wonderful way to introduce the topic, because so many families are not aware that there's a problem. Isn't that correct?
That's absolutely correct. I mean, our family, I knew my brother was dealing with depression. Our family has a line of depression in our family. It's common. In fact, it's pretty likely that you'll have depression somewhere in your family if somebody else has it further into your family line. So it's a topic that people don't understand, but they don't understand the signs of the behavior change that develop into depression. And that's what we're trying to bring to our community.
And you really want to illuminate that it's not, you don't have to suffer alone, and the family doesn't have to keep this closed. And so not only are you showing the movie Hope Bridge, but you are also going to have other organizations on hand to answer questions. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. We'll have probably 12 organizations that are very committed to partnering with us, from Community Mental Health of Ottawa County to Holland Hospital to the Mental Health Foundation of West Michigan to Boys and Girls Club of Greater Holland, and many, many others. And we're excited for them to partner with us because they all see the need for suicide prevention awareness. We need to educate ourselves on a very simple way to identify behavior changes in our loved ones, because it's up to the loved ones and family members to really do the diagnosis, because you don't wake up one day with depression and say, I've got to go see the doctor.
It's so true. And the fact that your family, which of course suffered the horrible loss of your brother, is willing to open up, be transparent, and say, we want to help another family from suffering what we've gone through, another person in your family to suffer what our brother went through. And so often parents miss it in kids, because what we say is, well, they're just going through their teenage years. And yet teenage suicide is spiking in this country. So Hope Bridge, Where There's Hope, There Is Life, the movie. What do you hope, besides just June 29th, you can continue the conversation with here in our community?
That we can bring an easy to understand way, just like stop, drop, and roll. If you think about the word stop, drop, and roll, what do you think of?
Fire.
Fire, right? We need to have that same sign of identification for suicide prevention or deep depression, so that we as a community can identify, and loved ones can identify those signs to prevent suicide.
Jeff Elhart talking about a very special event coming to Christ Memorial Church. It is June 29th at 7 o'clock. I would imagine to accomplish what you want to accomplish, Jeff, you're going to have to eliminate the stigma that goes with depression and with suicide.
Absolutely. There is a stigma, and it's continued to be that way, but it's growing less and less as people are willing to get out there and talk about it. And I'll start with our friends David and Christy Eaton, who produced this movie. Ironically, they vacation in Holland, Michigan every summer. God has a plan through this whole initiative of bringing Hope Bridge to Holland, Michigan. And I credit them to being bold and brave to bring this movie out so that we can take it throughout this community and throughout this country and this world.
It's time to stop hiding with our secrets behind closed doors. If there's depression, if there is the possibility of someone in your family struggling through depression, come and listen and learn as a family, because you're right, Jeff, we're the only people that can really see it because we notice those small little signs. But then again, sometimes we don't, do we?
Exactly, we don't. And I would encourage, this is not just for people that are struggling with depression or families that have loved ones that have it, but for those that have never experienced depression, we need to understand, just like going for a CPR class, we need to be prepared for when it happens, because ultimately most people are going to be affected by someone they know that are dealing with depression.
We're going to be talking about this a lot here on the Parker and Davis show every morning leading up to the 29th. We hope that you will come out, and we hope you'll come to the church, which is, of course, it will be held at Christ Memorial Church in Holland. And we'll have more information on our Facebook page. But, Jeff, if you could, and really you're already doing it, but if you could say anything to someone out there listening right now who says, well, I don't know, what would your encouragement be?
My encouragement would be is come. You will be, this movie, personally, having gone through a loss of my brother, gave me the opportunity to rid myself of one of the two emotions that is unique to suicide. And one is guilt and one is anger. I have not held any anger, but I've held a lot of guilt. I was able to, through this movie alone, and credit this movie alone, to the ability to bury my guilt once and for all. And I would say I'm 90% cured, if you will, of my guilt. And thanks be to God for this movie to help us do that.
And so often we see when families undergo tremendous loss or experience tragedy, they not only do they find their hope, which so often in this community is through their faith in God, through the Lord Jesus Christ, but then they also turn around and say, I want to take what I've learned and help others. And the Elhart family has exactly done that. Jeff Elhart, thanks for joining us. We'll have more next week throughout the show. We'll be talking with people from the mental health community and also the producers of the show.
Save the date, June 29th, Christ Memorial Church for Hope Bridge.